Okay, I'm trying to hide my fat belly rolls. This is not up. I always have this problem, seriously, it's annoying. Hello guys and welcome back to my Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe down below, like, comment, share, all the good stuff. To be honest, I have not recorded a video in ages. This is sort of gonna be like a story time explaining partly why I haven't been consistent or anything. At the moment, I'm borrowing my sister's camera. Hopefully, I'll be back with some consistency or whatever. Also guys, I know my nails are absolute trash. Let's not look at them. I don't know how to take off acrylic nails, so what I do is I just literally cut them down, but these ones are like not budging. Yeah, so let's ignore that. Where do I begin with this story? My life has been a bit like a movie. If you saw me about 2 weeks ago, I think, it was coming up to 3 weeks now. Boy, I went on holiday to France. I started off in Paris, and then I went to the south of France to Nice and then to Montpellier. Now, obviously I know that I'm probably gonna get people thinking,
you traveled during a pandemic?
What is wrong with you?
A lot of people are actually traveling, which doesn't make it okay, but we basically drove there, and so we were sort of like, you know, okay, we're traveling in our own car, we're coming back in the car, like it's not going to be a big deal type of thing. And it was extremely spontaneous. Like I knew 2 days before that I was going to France. I was like, okay, I'm going. Guys, you don't know how much I was itching for a holiday. Like it was literally a must for me to go. So I went on holiday to France. Everything was good, enjoyed myself. Then about like 3 days or 2 days before I ended up having to leave, I started feeling a bit ill. Now, it wasn't like anything mad, it was just like a cold. It was literally even more minor than a cold. It was just like I had not a sore throat, but like an uncomfortable feeling in my throat. I didn't know whether it was because I was ill or whether it was just my mood. I didn't really want to do anything. I wanted to go home. I was done. I felt like because we went from Paris to Nice to Montpellier, it was just like, it was a bit too much for me at that point. I kind of wanted to go home. Day after that, I just wanted to go home, but the people that I was with didn't want to go. So it was a thing where like, I want to go, but I don't want to ruin the holiday and be like, yeah, I need to go, because obviously, you know, it's not fair on them. I ended up literally booking a last minute flight on the same day because I really just wasn't feeling good. I thought that it was for the same day, but sorry about the background noise. But I ended up looking at my flight and it ended up being for the day after that, and I was like, oh no, please, this is not really what I want to do right now. What I forgot to mention was that we actually had nowhere to stay for that night because we had booked an Airbnb. We tried to book it the day before, but some stuff happened. We didn't manage to book it, and it could only be booked 24 hours in advance. So it was like we were sort of stranded, and I just was not here for it. Like I just wanted to go home. When I saw that I booked it for the wrong day, I was just like, fuck, no, I need to go home now. At this point, I was ill. We tried to go back to the airport, and I tried to ask them if they could just change my flight to an earlier one, and I would obviously pay like any extra bit. They were like,
no, you can't do that.
You just have to book a new flight, a whole new flight. So I was in the airport, and honestly, it was just giving me like really bad anxiety. I started feeling quite panicked. I was really hot. We had obviously left the hotel in Nice and driven to Montpellier. We had nowhere to stay, so it was just like I needed to like be at home. I needed to have a shower, and then I ended up literally crying. My cousin had to be like, oh my god, like she was hugging me. I was just like, I just don't feel good. Like I just really want to go home. Like that's all I want to do. And then I was speaking to my older sister, and thank God for her. She sent me money. She was like, we'll hopefully cover your flight and a hotel for you to stay at tonight. I just feel so much better. Now, the next day, I left for my flight, and in the airport, obviously, you have to wear your mask. They're quite strict as well. Every single 2 minutes, bruv, there's something speaking in the speaker thing. I don't know what it's called. Don't forget to wear your mask or you will be fine in French. So I'm just there in my mask, yeah. And on that day, I was struggling to breathe, but I obviously had to put it on. And like, I was super socially distanced from everybody else. There wasn't a lot of people at all because it was a really early flight. But I was definitely struggling to breathe in my mask. On the plane, when I was breathing in, you could hear wheezing in my chest. So I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Just get home, you know, don't go near anybody just in case. of, you know, COVID, but I didn't think I had COVID. My symptoms were not that deep. I wasn't like persistently coughing or anything. Anyways, finally ended up in the UK, got back home to my house. I was just quarantining because once you come back from France, you have to quarantine for 14 days. So I was quarantining in my bedroom and staying away from my little sister. I have a little sister who's 5 years old. It's when I got back like to my house that I was just feeling ill as fuck. It was so bad, to the extent where I just couldn't breathe properly. I felt very asthmatic, and by the way, I don't have asthma. I've never had asthma, never had any respiratory issues, but my respiratory issues started coming like when I got home. It literally felt like I was having an asthma attack. Every time I would walk around, my breathing was just, it was not it. It got really bad to the point where I called 111, and I obviously told them, explained what was going on, said that I had literally come back from France on that same day. They eventually decided to dispatch the ambulance, and at that point I was just like, oh shit, okay. I was really hot, had a really bad fever. So the ambulance came, they took my temperature, they checked my blood pressure, and they were just like, yeah, this is bad. Your temperature is really high. Your blood pressure is very low. They got me to stand up and walk on the spot to check whether my oxygen levels were low. And obviously when I was doing, you know, the movement, my oxygen levels were dropping. So they were like, yeah, we need to take you to the hospital now. I was so hot, yeah, that they told me to like strip and put on shorts and a crop top because I was like really sweaty. So I ended up going inside the ambulance. Oh, it was just honestly so surreal. They put on sirens and the lights, you know, just zooming down the road. I just had like an oxygen mask on as well. When I got into, I think it was the OMU ward or something like that. It's basically a department in the A&E bit, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna like do a bunch of tests. They did like a chest x-ray. They was just doing loads of stuff. Like there were like 2 doctors, just, I was like a rag doll literally. And my chest x-ray came back, and then they were like to me, oh,
It's not good news. Your chest looks like a COVID patient's chest. We think you might have coronavirus.
it's just like, was it worth it? Like, I was so scared, and I was by myself. Nobody came with me to the ambulance. My mum had my little sister, she's high risk, so you know, I had to go by myself. And I hate hospitals as well. Like, I hate them a lot, especially after this experience. After they had told me that they were just like, we're just waiting on your blood test results, I really wanted to cry, but I was just keeping it together because I was by myself. I was just like, what is going on? So anyway, my blood test results came back, and they apparently came back abnormal. So then they were like to me, we think that you might have a blood clot in your lung. And I was just like, whoa, what do you mean a blood clot in my lung? Like, what the hell? They were like, this is common in coronavirus patients. We're gonna have to do a CT scan, check to see if you've got a blood clot, and then we're gonna have to begin putting you on medication, blah. Everything that was just happening, it was literally so fast paced. I was just being wheeled around to different rooms, ended up having a CT scan, and it was honestly horrible. I had 2 CT scans within 2 days, okay? The first CT scan, I know that they done it incorrectly because it was extremely painful, whereas the second one was fine. They basically put you under this machine. Your hands have to stay up the whole time, and then you have to do like breathing exercises. And whilst you're doing that, they inject you with this dye in your stream, I think. They did that, and it gives you like this warm, funny feeling as well. When she injected it into me, I literally started moving. My CT scan didn't come out well. They didn't get good shots. I don't know what the hell she did, but it really hurt. Because they didn't get good shots, they said, we really need to do another one, but you know, we don't want to put you under so much radiation, so you're going to do it tomorrow instead. They tried to send me home, and before sending me home, they injected me in my tummy with a medication for blood clots, even though they didn't get good shots, so they weren't aware whether I actually had blood clots or not. As soon as this woman injected me with the medication, oh my god, I was in pain. Like, I was literally like literally out loud, and they were just standing there. They just didn't give a shit. Like, I was in so much pain. I was like, wait, was it meant to hurt like this? What's going on? Like, because they were sending me home to come back the next day, I couldn't walk properly. Like, I legit could not walk properly. I was literally like having to hold on to shit, and they dispatched me. When I say Homerton Hospital are trying to kill people, like, seriously, I've obviously known like my whole life that when you're black, you don't usually have like the best hospital experiences, because I think that black people are more tolerant to pain than white people, and so they tend to think that we're exaggerating, or like, you know, they brush off whatever you have. And I've seen so many stories about this. I've experienced it at the GP, and I've also experienced it at the hospital when I'm going through pain or whatever. I was like,
oh, you know what, you'll be fine, you just drink a lot of water, da 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 da.
In this instance now, the fact that they were able to send me home, I was literally crying my eyes out. I had to call my mum, and my mum and brother had to come and pick me up to go home because I could not walk. I literally left there worse than how I had arrived. I had such a good doctor in the beginning, like he was so lovely. It's a shame that not everybody has like genuine care towards patients, because she just came in out of nowhere, and she was the radiologist, she wasn't even my doctor. It's like, yeah, so the doctor's off shift now or something like that, so you're gonna have to come back tomorrow. I didn't want to stay there, but at the same time, after they had given me that medication, like I couldn't even walk, so I was just like, what the hell is going on? Anyways, I came back the next day. Again, I was given a completely different doctor who had no previous notes on what had happened to me, so I had to sort of just talk him through everything. He didn't have any records of like blood pressure or like my blood tests and stuff. He was like, okay, you know what, we think it could be coronavirus, but we're not sure. We're gonna do a CT scan, but you should be fine, you'll be able to go home. Then he goes out and I'm alone by myself for like 30 minutes, and he came back in, and then he was like, yeah, we just saw your blood test results, and we've spoken to specialists who have said they do think that you might have blood clots in your lungs. We need to let you know of the risks associated with doing another CT scan at your age. They were like, if we give you another CT scan, there's a possible risk that you could get breast cancer. But if you don't do it and you do have a blood clot, you could die. Oh, wow. He's like, we can't force you to do the CT scan, but it could be deadly. I was just like, okay, so basically I have to do the CT scan, because if I do have a blood clot and I don't know and I'm just going about my day, it's dangerous. So I ended up doing the CT scan again. Before doing that CT scan, there was like the main doctor, and there was a junior nurse next to him, and she was gonna put my cannula in. She done it so bad. So she ended up doing it. Oh my god. It was honestly horrible. Like, I had to turn around whilst she was doing it because I'm terrified of blood tests. And sorry, when I think of it, it just makes me feel sick. She put like a plastic over my joggers just in case any blood came out. It was really painful when she done it. Then I looked after she had finished, and there was blood everywhere on the plastic, like all over the plastic. It was so horrible. I only see this part of my arm, and there was blood here. I didn't realize that on this whole part of my arm there was blood everywhere. Like, it was, I'm gonna insert pictures as well. I'm gonna insert a picture literally here of my arm area that was leaking, despite there being the plastic bag. Like, it was horrible. It was so bad that when I went for my second CT scan, the radiologists in there were literally shocked at the way that the cannula was put in. They had to like readjust it. I was literally like basically crying because it was so painful, because they had to readjust it because it was unsanitary. There was blood in the plaster area as well. Just thank God the results came back negative, so I didn't have any blood clots in my lungs. For some reason they couldn't do my COVID test there, which is just so weird to me, because I was an outpatient in A&E rather than admitted to the hospital. I had to order a COVID test and basically do it at home, which to be honest I didn't do properly. I'm not gonna lie, like the whole putting the swab thing up your nose was just horrible. Anyways, my COVID test came back negative too, and what they ended up doing is they ended up prescribing me with steroids, with antibiotics, and with an inhaler. Because they didn't know what I had, they just wanted to rule out everything. So I was on that for a couple of days, and it helped like so much. I recovered so quickly. But yeah, that is pretty much the story. I have like no faith in hospitals at all anymore. That experience alone, the fact that they could send me home after giving me medication that I did not need because I didn't have blood clots in the end. They're just literally putting bullshit in my body that I reacted really badly to, then putting the cannula in wrong and like letting me bleed out. I just can't with hospitals. I really took my health for granted. I will never do that again. It was such a quick period of time, but it was also quite traumatic as well. I'm gonna try and be a lot more consistent. Obviously, now that I have my sister's camera, it gives me the opportunity to film more and stuff. I thought I'd just do this nice little sit down story time type of thing. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, share and turn your post notifications on too. See you next time. Bye.